around like that at age 58. So I want to get that out the way first. But I wanted to get to a bigger point. Because the time comes, somewhat pun intended, for us to take the gloves off when it comes to Jake Paul. Now, unlike people who've worked with me, unlike people who are friends and colleagues, what have you, I didn't find it funny.
It's kind of weird because Jake Paul is extremely bigger than Tank.
That tells me that even he recognizes that he's too big for him. Yes. He recognizes that he's too big.
The boxing world is buzzing and divided as Jake Paul prepares to face Gervonta Tank Davis in a matchup that's lighting up every corner of the sport. Critics, legends, and fans are clashing over what this fight truly represents: competition or pure entertainment. Stephen A. Smith didn't hold back, calling the bout one-sided and uncompetitive, blasting Jake's pattern of choosing smaller, high-profile opponents. That was Mike Tyson, Smith said, referencing Jake's previous exhibition. Now he's fighting a guy who walks around at 128.
That was Mike Tyson. Now you're going into the ring against a cat that's 228. He's a young lion, and no matter what questions may exist about Jake Paul and his ability to box real boxers, because we haven't really seen that yet from him, we don't question his power. Mm-hmm. We know he's got power.
Look at how Tank started acting after he made $40 million with Ryan. When he make another 40+ million with Jake,
he's gonna go make $40 million fighting Jake Paul, and then he's gonna come back and fight Lamont Rowe for what? He's gonna come back and fight Shakur Stevenson for what? He's not gonna fight none of those guys.
No, the only way he fight any of them guys, Turkey gonna have to hit him with the Crawford money. Cause that's the thing. You do this for a reason, bro. Like, I get it. You want him to be competitive, but his goal is money. He made 40 with Ryan plus everything in between. Now he get this 40, 50 million plus. He don't even gotta fight no more. So now if you want him to fight Shakur, give me that Canelo money.
Jake might lack Tyson's technique, but he's got that same knockout power. His tone captured the frustration of boxing traditionalists, those tired of influencer-era matchmaking. Smith later turned the conversation toward Tank's future, pressing his trainer, Calvin Ford, on what comes next. Ford's response was ice cold and confident. "We want everybody who talks slick. Shakur, Teofimo, all of them," he said. "If they doubt his power, they'll feel it up close. They can't hide forever." For Ford, it's not about trash talk. It's about restoring respect. His comments showed the fine line. Team Davis walks between chasing legacy and chasing spectacle.
Who do you want to see? You, as a guy that's in his trainer, that's like a father figure to him. You're training him all the time. You know him. Both y'all from the streets of Baltimore the whole bit. Who do you want to see Tank fight next?
I want him to get all of them that ran their mouth.
Give me the names. I need names, Calvin. I need names.
You already know. We went down to, we working on the big four. It was Garcia. That's the first one. Roma, I hope we get him soon. Shakur, he's going to get it. He know he's going to get it. It's just Bob is in charge of that. You know what I'm saying? Bob know what he's doing over there. You can't tell Bob how to run his game because he's like a vet at this. He's been doing it for so many years. That's going to happen. All the fights that we'll want, they have no choice. They're going to take the fight when it's time to take the fight. It's just right now, who's going to take the fight?
Comedian and boxing enthusiast Aries Spears called it straight. "This whole thing's a circus," he joked. But Tank's the lion in that circus. He predicted a third-round knockout, laughing but serious underneath the humor. "People clown these fights," he said, "but everybody's watching." And the odds makers seem to agree Davis is a 240 favorite, with Jake Paul sitting at plus 190. Still, beneath the social media frenzy, serious questions remain about where boxing is headed.
The next fight that's coming up is Tank Davis versus Jake Paul.
Oh, this is such a circus.
Yeah. Look, according to BetOnline.ag, Gervonta Davis is favored minus 240, Jake Paul's plus 190. So more than twice the odds for Davis. Davis is a lot smaller, but he's a real serious fighter.
I'm predicting a third-round knockout.
Ooh.
Third
round knockout.
He's out of there. Listen, I don't know what's the bigger joke, that fight or Tyson versus Floyd Mayweather.
We'll talk about that in a second. We'll talk about that in a second. Yeah, this is honestly just disappointing. As a boxing fan, to just keep seeing these circuses happen over and over again.
I don't know if the rumor's true, but I heard Floyd was talking about coming out of retirement to fight Crawford. Now that's got some panache to it.
That'd be interesting.
Yeah,
But
it would be.
I think Floyd will end up taking a loss.
Finally.
That's the thing. He'd mess up that record.
Yeah. And I would respect him for it because we know how much he's tried to protect the record. Take the risk. This is what great fighters are supposed to do.
Yeah, but it's interesting because people were saying that Terrence Crawford should retire because he's, 43-0 at this point?
Okay.
He's 37 years old. I personally don't think
But he still got the goods, though.
Oh, he's got the goods.
Yeah, he still got the goods.
Because Canelo was a monster. Crawford had been dominating for a while.
Right.
And he had only had 2 losses, one of which was Mayweather, very early in his career. But this whole Jake Paul, Gervonta Davis thing, just because Gervonta was supposed to fight Roach. It was supposed to be a rematch because it was, I believe, a draw last time.
Yeah.
So you go and fight Jake Paul instead? I'm sure it's a much bigger bag. I'm sure it's a much bigger bag.
And clearly that's what it's about. It's the bag, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, pretty soon they're going to have Denzel Washington fighting somebody. They're going to start putting old men. I mean, they've already putting old men in the ring.
As long as before the fight, Denzel looks at his watch and goes, 16 seconds. I'm with it.
Stephen A. argued that Davis's next moves should define eras, not algorithms. Give me Tank versus Shakur, Tank versus Teofimo, or even another Garcia fight, he said. That's legacy. That's real boxing. His view reflects the fatigue of fans craving authenticity over showmanship fights that remind them why they fell in love with the sport in the first place. MMA legend Daniel Cormier echoed the same concerns. Jake's size changes everything, he warned. When there's that much difference in weight, it stops being competition and starts being performance art.
It's kind of weird because Jake Paul is extremely bigger than Tank. And I mean, but with it being a exhibition, it makes sense. It's fine. He got a big name that he's going to be fighting. But I mean, it really makes no sense because he's going to be weighing over 200 and some pounds. Tank's going to probably be weighing maybe at the most 147, 150. So I don't even understand.
Wait, I thought it was 190. Dean, that's bad. Because you know what that tells me? That tells me that even he recognizes that he's too big for him. Yes. He recognizes that he's too big for him.
I'm wondering how this even came about. It can't be that Gervonta Davis needs money. That can't be the reason why
he's been a world champion so recently. How could he be broke?
That's what I'm saying. Is he doing this for money? And then why and how is even Jake Paul doing this when no one respects it? I can't think of anybody that respects this.
But Jake Paul has been able to carve out and make his own lane in boxing, and I've never seen anything like it, bro. He literally, I mean, we don't know what weight class he fights in any situation. We just don't know. He kind of makes his own rules.
He makes his own rules.
And it seems like people are playing by those rules. I remember a couple weeks ago, the WBC and the Jose Sulaiman was very upset that he wasn't going to be able to put the belt on the winner at Canelo versus Crawford. That's the thing that's happened since the beginning of the time. Those guys are very powerful in boxing. But with Zuffa boxing, it was almost like that power was getting stripped away. They were very disappointed. But how can you take those sanctioning organizations seriously when they are sanctioning this?
That's my point. That's why I think that this whole thing that we have, this boxing and this MMA argument and Zuffa getting into boxing, our argument is misplaced because things like this should not be happening. And the fact that boxing is allowing this to happen is an embarrassment to the sport.
Yeah, I don't understand why. I talked about this before. I didn't know why they were fighting because, Gervonta Davis's last fight was at 130.
He cautioned that boxing's credibility risks collapse if fans can't distinguish athletic challenge from commercial theater. Jeff Mayweather added to that critique, calling the matchup a credibility problem disguised as entertainment. He reminded everyone that weight classes exist for safety and that Jake's natural cruiserweight frame gives him an unfair advantage. Tank's skill is elite, Jeff said, but 60 pounds is 60 pounds. That's not a fair fight. Carl Froch, never shy with opinions, took it further. Jake was supposed to fight AJ. Now he's fighting a guy half AJ's size. Froch scoffed. He keeps gaming the system. It's clever, but it's not boxing.
Moments Jake Paul won the fight. But yeah, that was that. This time, Jake Paul is to take on Tank Davis. Tank Davis, he was recently in the news for being arrested for a domestic violence incident involving one of his kids' mother. He was alleged to have slapped her about the place. The charges were later dropped, to be fair to him. But yeah, that was when he was last in the news. What is interesting is just a couple of months ago, Tank Davis was saying openly that he'd lost his passion for boxing and that he wanted time away from the sport. There was speculation that he might even retire as he was experiencing extreme mental fatigue from boxing, depression, and there were mental health concerns over him. However, I guess the opportunity to earn a truck full of money, fighting a completely worthless exhibition fight against Jake Paul was enough to make him change his mind about boxing. Funny that, isn't it? But you know what? I'm not even going to waste your time or mine critiquing this utter nonsense. Suffice to say that this so-called fight we're talking about is an exhibition, and it pits Jake Paul, who is a cruiserweight, by the way, weighs in excess of 200 pounds, and Tank Davis, who is, he was the WBA lightweight champion, who weighs in at about 135 pounds when he fights. So that's a disparity of some 65 pounds. In old money, that's about 4.5 stone. There's also a significant difference in height. Jake Paul is roughly, 6'1", 2. Gervonta Davis is 5'5" at best. So, there's a height disparity there of some 8 inches. And once again, this is Jake Paul showing total disrespect.
To me personally, I want to see him fight a Garcia again. I want to see him fight a Teofimo Lopez, somebody like that, that's got some power, somebody that has the potential to inflict some pain upon him, because I don't know if anybody can do it. And I've totally lost it with David Haney. After what I saw Ryan Garcia do to him, even though Ryan Garcia was a bit...
His bluntness hit a nerve among veterans who feel the sports foundation is being traded for viral clicks and cash. But as much as purists complain, money keeps winning. One insider put it plainly, Tank made $40 million fighting Ryan Garcia. He'll make the same or more here. Legacy's great, but legacy doesn't buy you freedom. The truth, uncomfortable as it sounds, is that every critic still tunes in. Outrage has become part of the marketing plan. And that's the paradox. The same voices tearing the fight apart are the ones keeping it alive.
For fighting Jake Paul, but yet at the same time, he is going to fight Jake Paul. Now, what I find interesting is how people on one hand are going to criticize it, but on the other hand, try to take advantage of it for their own profit. So Shakur Stevenson, definitely for press purposes, definitely for publicity purposes, offers to get in the training camp and spar for Jake Paul, spar Jake Paul for the Tank fight. Now, why would he be doing this? It's called copycat crap, because the last big fight that took place, which was Terrence Crawford versus Canelo Alvarez, guess what happened? Jaron Ennis went and sparred Canelo Alvarez to help Canelo Alvarez prepare for Terrence Crawford. So do I think that is coincidental? No, I do not. I think that it is trying to have your cake and eat it too. You are trying to complain and say Gervonta Davis is not a real competitive fighter, that this is a sideshow, freak show fight, but yet you want your name associated with it and you want to participate in it for your own good gain. Let me assure you that when Terrence Crawford said in an interview that he wouldn't fight Jake Paul, that's not a serious fight, and then they said, well, would you fight Jake Paul for $200 million?
Fighting AJ, Eddie Hearn announced 99% done, which we've just spoke about. What next for AJ? Potentially Jake Paul. But it now looks like that Jake Paul is fighting one of Anthony Joshua's legs. He's fighting Gervonta Davis, somebody who's a quarter of his size. I don't even know what's going on. Has Eddie Hearn been played? Let me know what you think, but the AJ fight with Jake Paul's finished. Gervonta Davis, fake Paul, November. I don't know what's going on in the world of boxing. This is an absolute joke. What next for AJ? We'll get into this, and there's so many questions I want to get into in the next episode, but I hope you enjoyed this one. And yeah, just thought I'd give you a quick update because the news has just come in and I'm just trying to relax and play a bit of golf, and I can't. I've got to get it off my chest. I'm going to add it to this video. Hope you enjoy it. Don't forget, if you haven't already, hit like, share, and subscribe to the best channel in the business, Frotch on Fighting, and we'll see you very
£5, bearing in mind Tank Davis fights at 135. That's £60 size difference. And Tank often weighs in light at 133.5 pounds. You know, he's 5'5". He's not a big guy. Okay, let's be honest, he's tiny. I could literally put him in my pocket. You know, he's a pocket rocket, but he's small. Yes, I know, I went too far. Let's move on. Jake's been fighting a cruiserweight, over 200 pounds. You know, he's 6'1". He's just a bigger guy. You know, a different beast. This is what Jake does. Love or hate him, he knows how to generate interest, get people talking, in his words, do the unthinkable. But guess what? People will tune in. What can I say? The guy's clever. He calls out AJ. The fight's looking likely. Everybody's outraged. Can't believe it. Then bang. He's fighting Tank. The man's half the size. He's done it again. Whether you like it or not, he's a marketing genius. He knows how to keep his name on your tongue. Everyone slated him for fighting Mike Tyson. I did too. He was fighting an old man with health problems. But guess what? I tuned in. And do you know why? Because curiosity killed the cat. And I wasn't alone. 100 million plus people tuned in.
As one analyst said, every angry tweet is a commercial. The industry feeds on attention. Even negative attention, and few names generate more of it than Jake Paul and Gervonta Davis. Whether you see it as the death of boxing's soul or its modern rebirth, one thing's certain, everyone will be watching. It's a spectacle born of two worlds, fame versus finesse, YouTube versus discipline. For Jake Paul, this is another chance to shock doubters. For Tank Davis, it's another payday and another opportunity to show that even in chaos, skill still reign.